Term life insurance, the pros, the cons, the ins and the outs, the living benefits, how to use it while you're living, everything in between. I'm going to break that down for you folks today. So, ladies and gents, just here to drop a few cents. You're with Earl, the money coach, a decade license in the insurance industry, and 2 decades of financial portfolio experience. I want to take the time to break this down because most people don't understand all of the benefits and the perks and the differences and the different kinds of term life insurances out there. But before we get started, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe, and click on the link in the description below so you could get instantly approved for term life insurances, health savings accounts, get $150 to boost your credit, and for my business owners, be able to apply and get 6 figures for a loan through business funding. So let's get into it. First off, what is term life insurance? It's exactly what it sounds like. It's an insurance that you have for a specific time frame. Generally speaking, you got 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Some companies have 35 years. Some companies have an age 65, meaning if you're 18 years old, it's good until you're 65. So that means you have over 40 years. So there's different kinds you could have, number one, when it comes to length. Now, also understand you have your regular term policies and you have terms with living benefits. What's a regular term policy? It's exactly what it sounds like. You get for 30 years and it pays out when you die. That's it. If you don't die within those 30 years, I don't care if you lose an arm, I don't care if anything happens, you can't use it. Only pays out when you die. That's your basic term. But folks, understand term life insurances have evolved. Now you have living benefits, which are your critical, your chronic, and your terminal illnesses. You could take care of all that. You could even get accidental. There's a lot of things you could add on. But generally speaking, you have your critical, chronic, and terminal riders that should already be included. And it shouldn't be without charge. If you're sitting down with the agent and they're giving you a term life insurance and you have to pay to add on these living benefits, you might want to look the other way because you should have them automatically included. And let's give a breakdown for the big three. Critical illness, which means exactly what it sounds like. If something critically happens, if you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, cardiac arrest, all these kind of things, critical illness living benefit allows you to access some of your term life insurance while you are living to take care of your needs. It could be anywhere from 25% up to 75%. Some companies may do more, and it depends on the severity. If it's something simple, let's just use cancer. If it's a stage 1 cancer, you won't get as much funding if it's say stage 3. So the more the risk, the more you could get funded. That's your critical illness rider. Your chronic illness rider is exactly what it sounds like. If you have a chronic illness, a chronic event, you say you lose an arm or something happens, you get dementia, you have to go into nursing homes. Chronic illness riders kick in when you can't do 2 of your 6 everyday functions, meaning you need help to eat, to shower, to travel, to move around, things of that nature. If you need help to do 2 of your 6 actively ADL, which is your activities of daily living, if you need help for those, then you can't have the chronic illness rider kick in. Then you have your terminal illness rider. Exactly what it sounds like. If you're terminally ill, generally speaking, within a time frame, if the doctor says, hey, you have a certain amount of time to live, most insurance companies give you 12 months. So if the doctor says, hey, you have 8 months to live, guess what? You're within a 12-month window. They could actually upfront take care of that terminal illness rider and give you all everything in advance. So you can, live the best time, live your best life, get everything in order, all that kind of stuff. Those are your basic riders. So you should have that. Now, what are the different kinds of your term life insurance? You have your basic, like I said, term. It's a level term, $200,000 for 30 years, you get 200,000 for 30 years. Then you have a increasing term which increases yearly. So you have 200,000 this year, 210,000 next year. So you have an increasing term. Some people do that if, hey, I'm gonna have more assets, so I'm gonna need more coverage, or I want to keep up with inflation so my families get to go. Things of that nature. That's your increasing death benefit. Now, if you have an increasing death benefit in your term life insurance, some companies you'll see that the cost of your premium is going to go up. Then you have a decreasing death benefit, which is exactly what it sounds like. You have 200,000 this year, then 190,000 the year after that, 180,000 the year after that. People ask, Earl, why do folks do that? Well, plain and simple, it depends what the need is. Say you have a 30-year mortgage, you may have a 30-year decreasing term to take care of that mortgage. So you have people that will use that. But then you have a ROP. A term ROP is a return of premium, which is exactly what it sounds like. If you get a 20-year term life insurance, guess what? After 20 years, if you outlive that term policy, they're going to return that premium that you spent for the last 20 years. Now, sounds great, but I'm not going to lie. You got to pay to play, baby. Meaning what? A regular term policy may be, say, $30 a month. To get the same thing with return of premium, it may cost you $50 a month, almost twice as much. Generally speaking, it's about 40% more for most companies, depending on what you're going with. So you have increasing term, decreasing terms, your return of premiums, you have a level term, so you have different kind of term strategies that you could use. Now, people always ask, what are the pros? Pros is very simple. It's very affordable. There's five main life insurances out there: term life insurance, whole life insurance, universal life insurance, variable universal life insurance, and index universal life insurance. So you have five different kinds of life insurances. Four of them are permanent, and then obviously the terms temporarily for a certain amount of time. So the pro is very affordable. It's something that everyone could get. Now, what are the cons are? Unfortunately, 98% of term policies do not pay out. Let me say this again. 98% of term life insurance policies do not pay out. Now, why is that? For two main reasons. Number one, a lapsed policy. Someone forgets to pay it. And a lot of times it's not even something huge, but they may have a new bank, they may have a card that they're using. So a lot of times they lapse and people aren't even aware. But some people just let them go. But the main reason 98% of term life insurances do not pay out is because most people outlive their term life insurance. So if the average life insurance most people get is 30 years, my first term life insurance I got when I was 25 years old. Meaning what? By the time I'm 55, that life insurance is going to expire. So a lot of times you'll see that term life insurances do expire, but luckily there is another thing that you could have on, which is called, not every company does it, it's a converge, where you could actually switch everything over. You could go from a term policy and convert it over to a permanent policy. So that's a great strategy if you have it. Generally speaking, like you have a 30-year term, within the first 5 to 10 years, if you want to convert it into a permanent policy, you can do that. But if not, there's a good chance you're going to outlive your policy. I personally have a client, a sweet lady, that she's outlived three term policies. She had a 30-year term when she was 20, then she got a 15-year term, then she got another 15-year term. So she pretty much had 60 years of term policies, right? She's 81 years old and she outlived them. And now she's pretty much uninsurable. There's very few companies that you could actually get insurance coverage when you get that age, or it's going to be ridiculously expensive. So you want to make sure if you want to convert or if you want to have something else, what can you do? Now, in my personal opinion, and I tell a lot of folks this, you could have multiple policies. So if you want to have a term insurance, you want to have a permanent insurance, you want to have a blend of both together, hey, have at it. The general rule of thumb is that you need to have, or not, no, put it back. Let me rephrase it this way: that what you could generally get approved for is 30 times your salary. So if you make $50,000 a year, 50,000 times 30 means 1.5 million. So that's generally speaking what you could get approved for. If you have more, then they're going to ask, well, why do you need more? If it's assets or for business, things of that nature. Not saying you can't get approved, but generally speaking, that limit is 30 times your income, which is why once you're going through a term policy, your insurance in general, they're going to ask what your income is. So that's huge to remember. So you could have a $400,000 term, you could have a $600,000 permanent. That's $1 million of coverage. So you could have it mixed and blended to make sure it could be the right thing for you. So a great thing here. Now, statistically speaking, let's talk about the power of these terms. I got the computer here so you guys know. Right now, it's still a great strategy. There's five different kind of life insurances, but 19% of all the new policies that were done in 2024 were term life insurance. So it's still a great tool to have. And I've noticed from my personal clients, a lot of folks that have term also have permanent. So I'm not saying permanent strategies are better. I'm not saying term insurance strategies are better, but it's great to have those there. Now, overall, this is huge. 51% of Americans own at least one life insurance policy. 51% of Americans. But here's the sad part, that it's been a 63% drop since 2011. So half of us have it, but it's dropped 63%. So we're talking about 70%, 80% of people understood not even 2 decades ago the importance of having term life insurances, but you've had a huge drop. But now here's this, there's a need gap. All right, 42% of American adults either lack life insurance coverage or need more coverage. They lack life insurance coverage or need more coverage. Now, what do you have to do to get more coverage? The thing is, you need to know how much you have. Now, for those watching, when it comes to life insurance, we have what we call the dime method. Just like a coin, your penny, your nickels, your dime. Well, it's called the dime method. Now, dime is an acronym that the D stands for debt, right? Any debt you have, if it's your credit cards, your cars, things of that nature. The I stands for income. You should have 10 times your income. If you make 50,000 a year, times 10 is 500,000. The reason why your loved ones should be able to live the same lifestyle, taking care of everything for at least the next 5 to 10 years. So the D is for your debt, the I is for your income, the M's for your mortgage. The mortgage, anything you have, as well as mortality. So if you have a mortgage, right, you still owe 250,000. Add that in. Mortality, make sure you're adding in funeral costs, all that kind of stuff. And then the E is for education, and that means two things. A, if you have any loans, like you have student loans for yourself, include that as well. And then if you have children right now, 2025, the average state is costing about 39,000 for a child to go through a 4-year college. Going through a basic, community college, 2 years, and maybe transferring to another college. Generally speaking, it's about 39. So let's just say 40,000. So you should be adding 40,000 per child. So the dime method is all your major debt, right? Your income at least 10 years, 5 to 10 years if it costs too much, but 10 years. Your mortgage and mortality, make sure you take care of your housing, your funeral expenses, and then the E's for the education. Take care of your education costs if you have any student loans, and then also taking care of your kids' education or future children, about 40,000 per child. This is why they say 42% of people don't know how much they need. That's a huge gap because they don't know how much they need. So you need to know your dime method. Now, this is huge. Millennials represent 47% of new policyholders, and then Gen Z is approximately 40%. So that's huge. So we need to get folks understanding a lot more what needs to be done. Now, how does it pay out? The statistics of it paying out is very simple. Term life, the average claim payout was $150,000 in 2023. Not bad, but it could be a lot more. Now, the whole life, the average payout was about $240,000 per claim. So a little bit more as you see with the whole life. Now, the claim approval rate, approximately 91% of life insurance claims were approved and paid out. That's huge, 91%. Now, why would term life insurances or permanent life insurances not pay out? Because certain things may happen. Like if someone killed themselves within the first 2 years due to suicide, so they have those kind of clauses or things of that nature. So generally speaking, I personally, I've had a few death claims from my clients, no issues in that case. That's huge. But now total payouts of last year was 790 billion. 790 billion in life insurance claims was paid out. Now that's huge. Why is that huge? Because remember, life insurance is the number one and easiest generational wealth transfer that you could have for families. Why? Because money that's in a life insurance is passed on to beneficiaries and it passes on tax free. So if you have $1 million of a term life insurance, your beneficiaries are getting $1 million tax free. They're not worrying about Uncle Sam sticking his hand into everything there. So that's a huge generational wealth transfer out there. Now, living benefits is huge. Approximately 25% of new life insurance policies sold included living benefits. Now that's huge. As you see, there's been a tick up, uptick, I should say, of people having life insurances with living benefits. 'Cause I always say it's just like electronics. It's just like your car, just like technology. And you know how it evolves over time? Well, guess what? We used to have the old school Nokia phones, then we went to the flip phones, then we went to iPhones. Well, guess what? You had the basic term insurance. Now it's included with your living benefits, and more people are starting to get that. So make sure that you have your living benefits. And if you don't have living benefits, you need to talk to a financial professional that's licensed. If you want to sit down with myself, click on the link in the description below where you can schedule a consultation. I can review your old policies and go from here. Now, this is crazy right here. Accelerated death benefits utilization rose over 20%, but the policy conversion options, all right, many term life insurance policies are now starting to have those conversion options where a lot more people are, look, I have it, but I want to have an option to be able to convert to a permanent. Maybe I don't have the funds now, but I'm going to have something for later. So, folks, these are huge statistics, but all in all, it's great to have something in play. People always ask me, clients ask me, hey, Earl, is it best to have a term? Is it best to have a permanent? I always say this: the most important life insurance is the one that's in place when you die. The most important life insurance is the one that's in place when you die. I don't care if it's term, I don't care if it's permanent, have something in place. If you get sick, the most important insurance is the one that includes your living benefits. So make sure you have that, folks. Now, overall speaking, if you're getting a term life insurance, it's super quick, it's super affordable. Understand there's a high chance that it may not pay out, but it could be used as a crutch and a tool for your financial stability if something were to happen to you. And like I tell people, have both. Have a term, have a permanent. What I say is term insurance gets you to retirement, permanent insurance gets you through retirement. So use the term insurance to cover if anything happens, God forbid, it covers your house, your health, anything up to your age of retirement. Use your permanent insurance so it grows tax-free cash value, and use that permanent insurance through your retirement years. So with that being said, folks, I hope that's some great information. You're here with Earl, the Money Coach. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe for some more information about insurances and finances. And make sure you click on the link in the description below to get approved instantly for life insurances. Open up a health savings account, have $150 to bump up and help you with your regular credit. And business owners, you could automatically get approved for 6 figures of business funding and have other entrepreneurs help you with the crowdfunding. And with that being said, folks, I'll see you on the next video. Take care.